Do you even know what a Stallone cut is, little dog?
Stallone Cuts.
Check.
Stallone Cuts.
1, 2,
Sylvester
3.
Stallone Cuts. Stallone Cuts. Sylvester Stallone.
It's MTV. Epic. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Stallone Cuts. I, of course, am your host, Malenko.
Oh, yeah. I'm Alex.
And welcome to another episode of Tulsa Kings, episode 2. Oh my god, dude.
Leaders to kings.
Lead us to kings.
Oh, man.
Second decree.
Second episode of Tulsa Kings.
Second episode of Tulsa Kings. Dude.
Oh, man. 37 minutes, Stallone.
37 minutes, Stallone.
Getting a credit card to see where his daughter is, Stallone.
Pronouns, Stallone.
Pronouns,
Oh,
Stallone.
the most woke Stallone,
Oh,
dude.
man. This episode was so woke.
This episode, I couldn't wait to talk to you about, they're moving the goalposts with the pronouns.
Goalpost?
The goalposts, Stallone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Loves that line, Stallone.
Dude, you can tell that Stallone thinks this stuff. This is Stallone.
Well, he catered, like they said, man. The last time you were talking about it, they said, the creators said they catered it to Stallone.
I just don't get these pronouns. I just don't know what they're talking about with the pronouns.
I don't know.
My pronoun is it, as in I don't get this shit. Or what was it?
Something like that. It was something as corny as fucking what's his name? Ted Cruz going, my pronouns are kiss my ass. Trying to be cool.
Dude, well,
but it was so much cooler when Stallone does it.
See, the thing is, Stallone is being himself about it, and he's not. He's making it like, oh, I'm not making this ideological. It's just I don't get it.
Yeah. Whereas Ted
He's
Cruz
like,
is a piece of shit who is
but
making it. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about any of those things.
It's interesting because we are a recap show. This is a recap of Tulsa
Breakdown.
Breakdown of Tulsa King.
Breakdown. We haven't broken anything down. Breaking things down. We're not spoiling. No spoilers. Just breaking things down.
Yeah.
You got to do aggressive Trump sometimes.
Oh my god, dude. Well, yeah. So we're a couple people got upset because they were like, "Hey, you're not a review show. You didn't review it. You just fucking recapped the whole episode." So we're a breakdown episode.
Fair enough.
We're dun 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 dun.
But who said that? Who said not a review show?
I'm
it's
not
still
gonna-
a review. I'm not revealing my sources.
We're reviewing. We're still reviewing as I punch my microphone.
Yeah, credit card Stallone. I love that the entire basis of this episode was him trying to get a credit card.
Because
It's
they
like
release so much like new information about all the characters. We get to find so much more out. We get more Benny from Sopranos, dude, as
more
Manny.
Bodie.
They ain't no paisan name.
Oh, dude, Manny was so awesome. I love.
I can't wait for melted Manny being like slinking into. He's so
he's
slinky.
slinky.
He
Such
slinks
a
into every
slinky
scene. I loved it. I Manny was great.
One thing that was interesting about the first thing where it's like, hey, can I ask you something? To the guy who's like trying to mail something to somebody. He's trying to mail the money to. Yeah, totally. And, he asks the guy who's like the mail person, like, what the fuck's going on in this world?
Oh yeah. Hey, I know you don't make the rules. Let me ask you something. What the fuck's going on in
is
this?
king.
Cash is king.
You ever heard that expression? And him, doing the.
He's definitely doing.
But the cash is king thing was interesting because
You ever heard the expression "cash is
and
king"?
him saying
no.
It was really funny, but at the same time, it's like, who hasn't heard that term?
Everyone's heard that expression.
Heard that
I mean,
term.
they just made it so that it would be funny for the show.
It should have
It's
been.
also, I think it was like, no, I don't want to talk to you, mister.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, please
it should
leave me
have been
alone.
a shrug. It should have been a little bit dismissive to Stallone.
Because But you know what? It's realistic because people do kowtow to dudes like this.
Yeah, it's true.
People
It's
do
true.
like
No, I'm
bend over. I'm sorry, mister. I'm a little bit scared of
Yeah,
you.
totally.
Like that kind of aggression, as much as they want it to work, it does work.
It does work. Yeah.
And so
totally.
like because it's nobody else is willing to engage with that level of like bravado and
Yeah,
confrontation.
like,
He
yeah,
just like
totally.
he swings cock entire times
Yeah,
in this
totally.
in this show.
And that part where he gives the guy behind the customer behind him money to pay for him to use
if I
his
give
credit.
you cash, can you pay for something on your credit card?
You're my freaking
Yeah, sure.
hero.
Yeah, sure. The guy was so casual.
So
about it.
casual. That's what I like. This episode, a lot of the
Cold
like,
open Stallone.
Yeah, cold open.
Cold
Stallone.
alone.
Cold alone. A lot of the humor worked a lot better in this episode, and it's way more
because
balanced.
they've already established the characters. It feels like the characters are established with like a breakneck pace in the first episode, so it feels like this episode is like, okay, we're gonna breathe a bit.
Yeah, totally. Like then the next scene, he goes into the coffee shop and he's like, "Do you have a glass for this?"
Well, I appreciate you being green, Stallone, but we all know Schwartzy's actually the green, one, Stallone.
totally.
So I'll
not
give you-
using thousands and thousands of gallons of water
Hey,
for his.
But
Hey,
listen, I
need
just
my trees. I have my trees that I have to water.
drought Stallone, climate change Stallone.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But in the next scene, we get what's her name?
Oh man.
Stacy's
mom's got it going on.
I love. She's trying to call she's trying to call the lady.
Well, does he have a name, or should I call him Lawyer?
And, like trying to get information on
Oh, on
Stallone.
Stallone,
Yeah,
yeah.
and she finds out that he has a daughter.
But my daughter is important. His daughter's totally important in this episode.
But I also really love the fact that this I love the fact that this woman sort of calls her out and she's like, "Why do you want to know?" Like it's actually built.
She knows.
Yeah, really realistically in the way that like not only does she know because they're friends, but also like
it's suspect to be
Yeah,
for
it's
an
like, wait,
agent.
why
It's
are
like,
you-
well, you know, we're keeping tabs on people in town. You never ask about things
Yeah,
like this.
exactly,
It's like,
exactly.
why are you asking about this person? And she's
And
like, I had a coffee with this guy Stallone. And,
Yeah.
and she's like, oh yeah? It was just a coffee.
Yeah,
and she was
totally.
like,
And then two-time murderer Stallone.
two-time
well,
murder.
one-time murderer,
Can
really.
you tell us what the murderers were?
The murders were the one he went to jail for, which he didn't commit.
Yeah.
Which he didn't commit.
Did he not? Oh no, he took
he-
the fall for
Yeah,
the
he took the
for
fall.
the
But
son,
obviously
the
he's a
fucking
murderer,
loser
Stallone.
son.
Your old man, Mr. Loser.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's murdered way more people than this.
Yeah, totally. And the
It's
second
what they
murder
call
was...
in the Wild West. Two confirmed kills.
Yeah, exactly. And then the second murder is a self-defense murder in prison. In prison.
He was like defending himself, Stallone, and she's like 25 years in prison, and he didn't and he was given several chances to rat out his friends. I mean, that's admirable. And she's like,
Nothing sexier than a cold-blooded murderer.
I love that she gets called out on that.
And, but also, like, it's admirable. He's a fucking gangster. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, fair enough though. I mean, he's got a code though, dude.
Yeah, he
Stallone's
does.
always got a code.
Stallone code.
The Stallone code, dude. Harry's code.
The code of Harry is satisfied.
Oh man, and in this season you can see light through to the crown where he's balding, where it's like spread out because he turns. There's that part where he's like walking across the street and it says, the pole thing says, "Wait, wait," and he like
I've been
turns
waiting my
around.
whole
Oh,
life.
no.
I've been waiting 25 years.
I'm gonna say this is my favorite setup to a different scene. I knew this was going to be a setup for something cool, where he's like walking through the park and he sees those two people that are talking, the kid and the like his mom, and then he's like laughing and they walk away and the homeless woman is like, "Can you believe that? It's the middle of the universe," where you can say it's like a little
It's like
spot.
a dot
Yeah.
with a globe in it,
Yeah.
where if you stand there, no one can hear you.
Yeah, which is very cool. I don't know if this is real. I
It's
didn't
a
look it up,
magical thing.
but it looks awesome.
I mean, it's cool.
It must be. It could be real.
Magic Stallone, dude. But I I really like how something I noticed this time around watching it, the Spitze, the music in the beginning. man, it's like, it's cool because it's like a but it's also got like kind of like New York saxophone in it.
Totally.
Did you notice the New York saxophone?
Of course,
so I like the melding of the worlds, just like the colors of the New York and Tulsa are melded in the actual. Anyway, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, and the homeless woman explains to him that he can talk without anybody hearing him there, and he's like, no shit. And she's like, try it. She's like a crazy, like, it's hilarious. And I love when he sees the horse walking down. That was great.
Hey, there's a horse.
Yeah.
I see a horse.
That was very almost Twin Peaks, like, where it was just like,
it did seem like Twin Peaks.
Some of it feels a little bit Twin Peaks. You're right. I didn't notice it at first. You
the
mentioned
Americana,
it last.
yeah. It's because it like leans into the Americana, but in kind of like a little bit of a dead-eyed way.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Yeah.
And she's like, I told you, nobody can hear you in there. And then he tries to give her money, and she's like,
I don't want your filthy money.
People talk to God in there. And he's like, hold up. And he tries to, and she gets so mad. So mad, Stallone. But it's hilarious. I don't want your scuzzy money.
I loved it. Stallone gets turned down because it's nice for him to encounter a world where maybe his type of way of doing things isn't going to work. That's what we get set up
but
for.
But also, like, the kind of interesting respect that he has for different places having different rules. I know it's fish out of water a little bit, but there is Stallone loves showing respect to people. Well, because
also, like, Stallone is he's gonna be trajectory Stallone in this. We know because he's starting out one way. Like, you know, it's interesting seeing him move through this world and sort of showing to us that the world really has changed a lot. Like, it's like got the thing that tells you to wait at the stoplight, but it's very like leaning into authoritarianism. Stallone, like, he thinks that, you know, things have gone too far, the goalposts have moved too far, and so now he thinks that, like, oh, you know, like, look at all this technology. Look at the ways that we're stifled. We have to use credit cards for things. We need IDs for things. Yeah, totally. It's very libertarian Stallone. It
is getting libertarian Stallone, which I'm fine with. I like libertarianism. I am a libertarian, dude. I told you. I waited till the 300th or whatever episode we're on, and the second video episode.
And you're just gonna tell the YouTube audience misinformation
about myself.
Misinformation, Alex.
Misinformation. Yeah, exactly.
Troll
Alex. Yeah, it's coming out. Dr. Melfi in the next scene. Of course, Stacy's Dr. Melfi.
Stacy's mom.
Not the real Dr.
Not
Melfi.
the real Dr. Melfi.
He's old and a man. And he's I recognize this actor from somewhere, but I don't.
She was like, he was old. Like, really old, like your age, like pretty much your age. He looks way better than you, though.
Yeah, totally.
And he's like, are you gonna see him again? No. But she really wants to fuck Stallone again.
Yeah, totally.
This entire episode, she's very thirsty for Stallone.
Yeah, totally. I really loved when he was like, how's the drinking? Really good. I'm really nailing that, which is hilarious. But like funny in a very realistic way, in a nice grounded sort of way.
Fun, really. Paris is the greatest.
The next scene where fucking Vince comes in and his mandible. Prince Vince, yeah, we've got his mandible broken.
Oh man,
because of Stallone.
He's so shut. Jaw wired shut.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's like, just like, he comes in, he's like, I want him fucking dead.
I'm a fucking man.
He's like, and so is he.
He's a capo too. Look, Bob, he's a capo too.
Yeah. Okay. So like, I'm a little bit like,
we got rules in this family.
The guy would know that Stallone is a capo. Like, he's disrespecting Stallone as much as Stallone is disrespecting him.
No, he's not. He's punched through the face, dude. I'd be upset too. Yeah, and can I just say, Cheeky, such Doug Ford energy,
my
dude.
My name is Cheeky. I love Doug Ford energy. He's so like,
look at him, dude. He could play Doug Ford.
He kind of is very shouldersy and is like, hey guys, I'm meaty. Look at how meaty I am.
The fucking cocksucker raised his hand at me.
Oh man.
Well, what do you want to do? You want me to kill the guy? fuck you think? Vince
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah,
All of them are
the
really
casting
good.
is really
yeah.
good. Yeah, and you're right. This is where the striking the balance of the like serious Stallone tone with the like funny tone is like
It's much more
feeling-
Sopranos-y.
Totally.
Yeah, because it's through the characters rather than through the writing. The first one is through the writing.
That's such a good point, dude.
Oh man! And then Tyson comes to pick Stallone up, and he's like, he rolls down the window, and he's like, "You getting in? You think I paid you $2,000 a week? You'd open the door for me?"
It's like, what? You really want me to do that, dude? No, but it'd be nice if you maybe thought about it.
Yeah.
And it's like this is where the politics of Stallone seem a little sus. Like he's like, it's libertarian. He's like, you'd think a guy, I gave you the freedom.
I know the money.
You could have. It's like a kind of respect thing. Like Stallone is very entitled. Stallone in this.
Well, this is what I think is the interesting thing about bridging the gap between some of the sort of libertarian ideals or even the conservative ideals versus our sort of like pussy left-wing ideals. And I think there's an opportunity. I'm serious. I'm being totally serious. Like where in sort of conservative spaces, what I've noticed is that there's a very there's a very but there's a very much an idea of like, it's not a respect thing, but it's a thing of like, they don't really understand that this isn't policy. What you're talking about is a level of community.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
That's what conservatives misunderstand about humanity in general. You see, like, like very conservative movies, like Rambo, for instance, like that are within the writing conservative.
Yeah.
See the world in such a bleak way. Like, yeah, dude, like people screw each other over all the time, but like way more, we have to constantly work with each other.
Yeah.
And like that's the kind of thing that like.
But what I'm saying is actually a little bit different than what you're saying. What I'm saying is the constantly having to work with each other for them or for Stallone.
For us.
Is that I don't care about. As a conservative, not me. But
you're saying conservative people don't care about.
Conservative people aren't caring necessarily about like a superstructure. They have a fear of a superstructure. They want things to be like conditioned based on community, right? I know you. Why didn't you open the door for me? You have respect for me. I'm paying you, man. Like you should be doing this, right? So like, but the overarching stuff, the like walking sign, the needing to take a credit card, that's an infrastructure. Then that's a bigger thing than
that's like a like federal oversight.
Federal oversight law, exactly,
Yeah.
right? Which is fair. There are some things that are good about like losing community, not having that. That is a good sort of idea. He's lost his community. That's why he's so upset. He's in a superstructure already of like capos and all that, but now he's building his own community of like outrageous POC friendships that are going to teach him some stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's an interesting turn. It shows that Stallone really is always. I don't know how much he has a hand in the writing of this.
I write, which is something you don't.
But like, he's always presenting himself at least as like, I'm on the pulse. I know what's going on. I don't always agree, but this is why I don't agree.
Yeah, totally. But also the writers are very much like really embiggening all of the rest of the cast. Wow, this is gonna sound so gross online.
Well, yeah,
man,
because we get introduced to
great milkshake.
Okay,
slaps.
we'll talk about that. But have we met Tyson's dad yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Hot
man.
dad.
Yeah.
Hot working class dad who has working class morals and raised
Totally
his son right, but his son is like wants to be ahead in the world.
But also seems like a bit like like Roseanne working class.
Yeah, I
totally.
would agree with that.
Totally.
But 90s Roseanne working
Yeah,
class.
90s. Yeah.
Yeah, not modern racist Trump Roseanne.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I love Stallone walking into the new BC Bud, man.
Well, it's interesting because, just because this show is focusing a lot on like culture war stuff. And I find it interesting because it's kind of also playing into this older conservative versus liberal dynamic that doesn't really exist in America anymore. Yeah. It's way more polarized than this is. This is trying to kind of be like, it's not that polarized anymore, guys.
Yeah, it's very not, Joe Biden. The show is very Joe Biden.
But they're not acknowledging the Trump.
They're actually, I wrote also, they're not really acknowledging the pandemic either, which is interesting.
It's trying to exist in a different world.
In a different world, which I find a little bit obnoxious.
But because it's changing the rules. They're changing the goalposts. Stallone is manufacturing reality. Stallone. He's saying, anyway, I write, which is something you don't.
Well, maybe just a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of writing, Tyson talking to the dreadlock kid about
cultural appropriation. I love that because he was like, he also alludes to other cultural appropriation going on, as in they're in a weed store selling weed legally, which is something that Black Americans have been jailed for like decades. Which
is also like, that's a bit ham-fisted, but it worked. The acting did it really well.
That's the thing. Yeah. This actor is amazing, and
Jay Wilson,
he delivers the lines.
He's
pitched perfectly.
He's really, really. He could do a lot more. He could do a lot. They're not giving him enough.
Well, they're building his character.
They're building his character, but they haven't given him enough. Oh man,
I think he's gonna get an episode.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be cool. I hope he gets an episode. But Stallone, I don't know, man. Stallone,
he wouldn't allow it. Ego Stallone.
But I love the fact that he's like, this is real cornball stuff, man, to the BC Bud kid, because he calls him out on his dreads. Yeah. But I love him talking to Bodhi, reiterating 20% Stallone.
Okay, but this is where we get the twist Stallone. You were on a twist Stallone here.
We're on the list.
Because Stallone is like, hey, I'm going to get you a better price so that when you're kicking up to me, you know, this is like a partnership. He's really trying to make this a partnership. Totally. So like he's giving the guy he's incentivizing
him for sure. You know, you're pretty freaking impatient for somebody smoking weed at 11 a.m.
Judgmental Stallone. Yeah,
totally. No, he wasn't judgmental because we get into it. I love the
Bodhi
next scene where he tries to get
the
credit card. He totally tries the tooth, and he can't. He doesn't have ID because it's from 1998.
Yeah.
And
he's like, you know, it's me. I'm not trying to buy a house.
And it's not just that, but he's like, I'm not trying to drive your car.
Federal oversight Stallone.
Yeah, I know, but it expired in 1998.
I mean, like, I understand the guy.
Yeah, totally. And then they drive
doesn't
away.
Like bureaucracy Stallone.
No, totally. We found that out in Rocky Balboa, dude. When he tried to get his.
Hey, I gave a speech. All right, give me my license.
I gave a speech, even though in the 5th movie I'm suffering from some sort of disorder where I'm shaking a lot.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense, Stallone. Whatever. I'm okay with it. He's trying to forget the 5th one, but I'm going to make him remember.
Make him remember the best one.
Better than the 6th one.
The 5th is the best one?
The 5th... I mean, the 5th, I don't know. It's pretty...
The 5th one was good. I liked it better than 6. Fuck you, everyone.
Yeah, totally. I like it better than 6 too. K's on our side. K's seemed fine.
I want your slystallone, my
brother. Lied that he didn't agree, but does agree with totally mostly agrees. Our points.
Yeah, we're introduced to Manny, Slinky Manny.
Benny. Benny's the name. Benny.
Yeah. man, when he comes in and he's like, Manny, what are you, a Jew tailor? Like that line felt so Sopranos.
Sopranos. It felt so Sopranos. Like it was like, yeah.
How many nice hotels you got down there? I don't know, one.
Well, then I guess that's where you want to try calling.
Totally.
Yeah. It's he's I liked how much they made him like he's a guy that's in hiding.
Built him up so well.
They haven't said anything yet, but like, and we haven't gotten any inkling as to what Benny's character is. But like, we can presume that he's been sent to Tulsa on the witness protection program because they figured that mafia guys aren't going to go to Tulsa.
Totally.
And so now he thinks that Dwight Malferi, Sylvester Stallone, is going to kill him.
Dude, I love when Stallone is getting his license, doing his test, and the guy next to him tries to cover the test results, and Stallone gets mad. Does
he give him money?
He gets mad and pulls him over and just forces him to cheat, and it's hilarious. It's so funny.
Oh, I saw that because for some reason I thought he slipped him like a bill.
He just gets him angry at him and pulls the table towards him.
Aggressive Stallone.
And then in the next scene, he gets his picture taken and then turns to the side because he just
it's like a mugshot gag.
Which I really loved. The woman who's like, oh, I'll need to get your driver's test in 5 weeks, that's who he gives the money to. It's hilarious. It's so funny.
And she just is like, yep. And she's like,
rules.
Oh my God, would you look at that?
Yeah, so funny. This lady was so hilarious.
A test open up next week, and you can use this right now.
Yeah, but the kid who...
I've been driving since I was 13.
The adult man who's like trying to get write his paper and doesn't want to like give the answers to Stallone. He was also a Danny Mulroon. Like, they're all Danny Mulroons.
Such Danny Mulroons, dude.
Danny Mulroon. I don't know what that means.
Oh, and then in the bank, when they're back in the bank and Tyson and Stallone are there, and he's like, and if you need an extra card for your...
One can never assume these days. Colleague. Oh, one can never assume these days. Did he think that we were, Stallone, I'm still not comfortable.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Tyson's not comfortable with it either. He kind of turns around. He's angry about it.
But I love Tyson because he goes, assume all you want. I work for him. Because he kind of plays it off. Because Tyson, while also not woke,
he's kind of like, he's like today not woke.
When Chicky calls Stallone, again, I love that
When Chicky calls Stallone,
and he's like, they kind of get to a point where they're like, all is kind of forgiven, and he's like, oh, I'm glad you're having a good time down there, and then he's like, listen, the thing with Vince, I like the setups of like low stakes. Before the big thing happens, it's all a bunch of like low stakes things happening.
Problems.
Yeah.
Stallone's like, fuck, man, like this isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And he's frustrated that he has to like pay, but he knows.
He's like, what are you, Mickey the Dunce?
He understands the pecking order. Stallone.
Yeah,
he needs to like pay $100,000 and he knows he needs to do it. He knows he needs to make it right for punching the guy. It's not okay that he did.
Yeah, you made beef.
Yeah.
You gotta. Yeah. And then he's like, what does he want, a duel? I thought that was amazing.
Stallone's like enunciation in this is so good and so interesting. He uses the like kind of slur into like the kind of like Italian mafioso sort of like he's like a New York guy, like it's cool. It's cool. He does a good job. He does a really good job.
Man, $100,000. $100,000.
He shouldn't have punched he's a made guy, dude.
Yeah,
he's a capo.
True. He's a capo.
He's a capo too.
So fucking fit Stallone in this next scene at the
so
hotel.
Jacked going to the hotel door because Stacy's mom's gonna go. She gets there and she comes inside. She's like, "Hey, I work for the ATF." And he's like,
You know what? His performance in this episode, all the way through was incredible. And in this scene, it was like very, very apparent of how much he's working at this character and forming the character. Because like he's hurt. Sorry. he's hurt and feels like rejected in a way that's like, man, like, fuck, this sucks. Like, I like this person.
That's the thing. He feels like this was a real connection with someone, and he feels the same level of sort of mini betrayal as he does with having to kick up or pay $100,000.
Totally.
It's like I know I have to do this, or this is reality, but this fucking sucks.
Yeah, totally. And she goes, when high class felons leave, they send a picture out to all of the FBI and all the departments, right?
Ex-felon.
Yeah, exactly. And
Ex-family.
I love.
No, I'm talking about your real family, like your daughter
totally,
and your wife.
My daughter.
Yeah, his daughter's important.
Yeah. And then
I haven't seen her in 18 years.
But he has to like say that he's an ex-felon, an ex-family, and so on, because he's like, part of him doesn't want to. Part of him kind of doesn't want to.
You're right.
either.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he is a little bit over with it, but he just doesn't really have any other options.
No, he doesn't. In a similar way that like, this is why pardon me. I know I interrupt myself and I don't complete sentences. Thank you, Rye. And my brother. But it's interesting because of the fact that when you're older, how easily it is to fall into certain things that even if they're toxic or bad, because you don't have any other, or you don't feel like you have any other option.
I mean, hey, this makes a lot of sense for me now. Like, getting older, you realize it's like options like become limited just because, it's not like, it's like, oh yeah.
Circumstance, getting
whatever,
older,
yeah.
people
you
die.
don't have enough time to learn a new thing. You need to live until, it's like, so it's relatable, and it feels like he's just a guy in the world trying to make.
Totally.
Again, Stallone wants to always have this underdog, even though in real life Stallone, he's like, like rich beyond all belief. Like, he's watering those trees, dude. In drought.
Are we done, Stacey Beals? And then she leaves, and then we get introduced to Tyson's dad, who's washing the Stallone
watching
car.
the like Escalade,
and then it's revealed that the dad is a plumber. And so
working class guy, and he's like, hey,
class.
I had to work. They kind of have quick jabs here. Like, I had to work to like raise you. Like,
now you're driving white people around, and he's like, yeah, but you're unclogging white people's toilets, right? Stuff like that. Dude's a businessman. I can learn a lot from him.
Puts the like front and center the race intersecting with the class element in Middle America, Tulsa.
Manny comes home and he's like, Larry, what the hell, man? Your dog shit on my lawn again. How do you know it was my dog? Because I saw him do it. Good grass, good fertilizer for the grass. Let him fertilize your grass. That was so funny.
This part was interesting because you can tell this guy is like ex-mafia guy, and back in the day he would have like beat the shit out of this guy, but like he can't do it now.
Cucked. Cucked.
Yeah. And he's also worried that Stallone's gonna kill him.
Yeah, totally. Man, this shot, I gotta say, like, it's like an like, I don't know how they did this. I think it was shot in a studio. It must have been shot in a studio, but they're driving and the camera is outside the car and like dollies into the window from outside the car. Very cool. Okay. Bodie, Tyson, Stallone headed up to the weed farm. One of the best scenes in the show so far.
Yeah. They're talking about like the guys that they're going to meet. Do you want to establish who the guys
Bad Face?
Yeah. Oh, dude.
And Jimmy Creek. Jimmy the Creek, which is hilarious.
Jimmy the Creek? And like Stallone, this was also interesting because they don't talk too much about them being indigenous, and they don't talk too much about the dynamics there. Everyone is just themselves in the scene, and like they just meet in a way where it's like they don't understand each other, but like they're gonna like work together. And Stallone is just like, I don't care, like I'm here to do some deals with you. And he gets called by Bad Face when they meet him. He gets called like a greedy. Wait, what is it?
One sec. Before we get to that, I want to point out that on Bodhi's grower's license, his name is Lawrence Geigerman. And I love the fact that Stallone, this is great, like, writing. Because he's like, speaking of tribes, and it's like, what do you want, some anti-Semitic shit?
Yeah.
I was like, I love the Jews. I love Jewish food. It's like, man, dude, like...
This is really riding that line,
But this
Stallone.
is like offensive in the way that, like, you know, this guy would be. He doesn't even think of like, he'll be like, oh, woke, whatever, right? But this, he'll do always. He'll always be this kind of anti-Semitic. This kind of Italian guy, like mobster, will always be like this.
Like anti-Semitic, as in like willing to completely like dive into the tropes and like,
for sure,
and like do so in a kind of unapologetic,
totally
old school kind
Speaking
of way.
Tribes, it's like, oh my god, dude,
it was
hilarious.
Just, it's cool. It's cool that they put it in, because like it's interesting that from a like a cultural standpoint, it's interesting but it's also like, it's like, whoa, dude, it's Stallone. Like, it's like, I don't know, man, like these days, Stallone, if you're gonna be doing this kind of edgy shit, it's gonna put you in a favorable light to a certain crowd.
But it's not like, I mean, that's the thing, like, I think that when I get confused when you talk about it, because it's like, are you disaggregating like the writing from him, from his own personal thing, or from because
yes, I am, dude. We have a fucking like solid track record of movies at this point that I can pull from.
No, I understand that,
and movies that he's written and directed.
But the thing is, we're getting back into the Scarface problem of, like, this character, much like Tony Soprano, is going to be loved by people that are like not great people, bad people, you know what I mean? So it's like drawing an audience, like this is going to draw a lot of people, because people like us are going to look at it and be like, that's clever, that interesting, clever
cultural
commentary, versus other guys who are like,
and also people who will hear the things that Stallone say and be like, they do move the goalposts.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like people
but
who,
like Tony has exactly the same problems.
But the writing changes that, because the writing shows an underlying sort of like heavy-handedness with like the focus on certain
but there were different focuses.
Couching.
You're wrong. There were different focuses.
Right.
They were commenting on stuff. I remember even from then I would roll my eyes at stuff. When I watched The Sopranos the second time, I was like, oh god, like I remember this point. Yeah, but like now it's different. Now I'm like, is the light still on?
Mine is.
Oh great. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man, Badface was so badass, dude.
Oh, man.
He was so awesome.
And like, and he just like when they're Bodhi and Jimmy Creek are kind of just trying to like chill the vibe out. And he's like, let's just smoke some of that shit. He's like, no, I'm keeping a clear head for the negotiations. Totally. There aren't going to be any negotiations.
The literal translation that you wanted to, the word was washichu. Yeah. Oh man, you got a last name, washichu.
And he's like, what does that mean? Well, the literal
translation is greedy non-Indian person. Greedy non-Indian person who steals the fat. Very specific.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's like,
oh man, you got a serious problem, motherfucker.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, when he's like, have you ever been on life support?
What is it? No, he asks him something, and then he's like, "Have you ever been on a horse?"
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
like, "Have you ever been on life support?" So this is like the meetings of like, it's like the meetings of values, right? Like
the clashing of values.
yeah, where Stallone's like, "I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna beat you up," and this guy's like, "You are. What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah, totally. And also, like Stallone is not this tall. Like, this dude is...
Oh, dude, Stallone is as tall as every person
in this.
Yeah.
Like, but like...
It's lifts
definitely
Stallone.
lifts. Because, like...
And it's stacked bones HGH.
It's... Yeah, dude. Because, like, it cuts to like, a wide between him and Badface... And it cuts to a 3-shot where Badface, Bodhi, and him are in, and Stallone are all in, and it's like, man, like Stallone is way too tall in this show, but also his legs.
I don't care. I'm here for tall Stallone.
Yeah,
who cares?
totally,
Let him
totally.
pretend he's tall. Like it's fine. He's amazing. Like he's amazing in this show. Like he's lifts Stallone.
Totally.
And lifts.
Oh man, so they're all trying to negotiate the BC Bud, and Stallone is dipping the crackers into
some honey or apricot
jam, yeah. And he is all cool and
negotiates really well, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what if I have this idea and it's a different idea but similar to the one you have?"
Yeah.
So it shows that he's fair, Stallone again.
Yeah,
and he's like,
totally.
"Hey, that's a pretty good deal for me too." Like it seems kind of like Stallone magically shows up everywhere and like makes good deals.
Yeah, totally.
But whatever. Like it's cool for the magic of the show.
I agree. And I love when he's like, "Oh, let's go smoke some of that peace pipe. Me and fuckface out there got to a bad start, bad face." I love that. It doesn't even cut to him. I love the fact that he's like, bad face. He just like throws it in.
Fuckface. Stallone. Man, Stallone is like really, really swinging dick hard in this show, like consistently. But yeah, he's like Oh,
and then he tells you, there's like, I should probably tell you, that's infused.
It's infused with THC. Is like, well, how much? A lot. And then he's just high Stallone and he's smoking weed in the back of the Escalade. Oh,
dude,
man.
Okay. This was another part of the magic of creating the character, because he's choosing to be very vulnerable in a very different way than we've ever seen him, Stallone. Because it's...
Man, you're so right. I can't wait to talk about that.
He is...
More of that.
It's very cute, endearing, and also very, like, indicative of him being, like, a boomer a little bit.
Well, maybe just a little bit.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah, and then when he's handing Bodhi the weed and he pulls it away from him and he's like, "You're just gonna take it away from me." The like
very childish
humor that they could do, because they're probably filming this at the same time, or somewhere around the same time as Samaritan. Honestly, do you think he just liked him? I'm sure, dude. I'm sure Martin Starr was like, "Oh my god, dude."
Stallone, dude?
Yeah.
Of course, dude.
Like, he's close to our age. He must have grown up
Martin
on this.
Starr grew up with Stallone, for sure. He loves every second of this.
But yeah, the he, her, him, they, boom, ba, fee, to, like...
We get pronouns
Stallone, which, like... To be completely honest, this is also like a vulnerability of him where it's like, I know you think this, and I know that Stallone would be a really nice person to whoever wants them to use their pronouns, but he does believe this.
He without a doubt. This is Stallone kind of like being like, "I'm trying,
You know what? That's all I need. That's truly all I need. Schwartzy's also the same. It's like, dude,
but
like,
Schwartzy
he embraced it a lot more,
a little bit harder that what his values are.
Yeah, totally.
And he seems to come with an open heart about it, whereas Stallone is a little bit stubborn about it.
He's very stubborn about it.
He's Tata stubborn about it.
He's Tata stubborn about it because Tata's a good guy, but yeah, I'm all for change. I really am. You know, it's like, that's the big thing. It's like, but they keep moving the goalposts.
What does that mean, though? We never moved the goalposts, Stallone.
Oh, man. Then he goes into his Henry Miller, Arthur Miller like speech. This is also the thing I was saying earlier with it's the modern
Speech Stallone, dude.
like Cormac McCarthy update. That's the kind of thing I was talking about, where it's like the characters are kind of dumb but hyper literate in a particular kind of way, and it's like it's a nice trope that I really enjoy to expedite needing to make a character like smart in some way, you know what I mean, or learned or well read or whatever, you know. And then he's like, "This is really potent stuff."
What do you know? This guy's never smoked weed in his life.
I
25 years. 25 years. And the shit he smoked
maybe.
before was fucking
Dank.
like definitely not good.
Yeah, for sure. Manny goes into the garage to make a secret phone call, and he talks.
He wants to call Stallone, dude.
Yeah. And he goes. He talks to like the really nice concierge guy. This guy actually this guy's full on Danny Mulroon.
Danny Mulroon. I don't know what that means.
Like, he did such a good job being like that kind of nice person, you know what I mean?
We also get like, did we mention that Tyson's dad doesn't really like, they show a couple shots of him like looking, he's bald dude with a beard, dude.
Yeah.
Husky bald dude. He's very.
Oh, that's the last scene. That's the last shot.
Okay.
I really liked.
Very attractive guy.
Yeah. And I love that the Manny is like mining the guy for information, like just being like, "Hey, like what's my friend Dwight Manfredi?" And he's like, "How about Ike? Is he under Ike?"
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. He knows who he's talking about. He's like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Menz, sure."
Yeah.
He shortened
That's
the
right.
last name.
That's him.
He de-Italianified the last name.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
for sure.
much in the way that the border people would do in New York when Italian people would arrive.
Totally. And then Tyson's dad sadly looks at his son coming home really late, and Manfredi, Stallone gets home, and he gets his credit card, and this
looks
scene,
up the daughter,
and this is the entire drive of this episode, which is amazing. Like, it's an incredible choice.
Yeah.
For both the writing, and it's not building character by himself. It's building all of their characters simultaneously while forwarding the plot.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is fucking fabo. I love it.
I love it too, dude. This is a good show. I'm really excited to see the next episode of the show.
Me too.
I'm excited to talk to you about the next episode of the show. I've been, dude, new format,
new episode, new format.
Yeah. YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube. Thirsty for more.
Yeah. I'm very excited.
Stallone.
I mean, guys, Thirsty for More presents on Twitter, @MoreThirsty on Instagram. And guys,
Follow
Patreon.
Patreon. What is the theme song? Because we can't use it. It got flagged on our last episode.
Yeah, we can't use our classic
drops
that we use on the show. So check out the podcast if you want to hear the cool drops. But
of course.
But yeah. So
he
we
calls Christina.
Did we talk about? Oh, so Patreon. Join us on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay. Patreon.com/thirsty for more. Okay.
He calls Christina.
Yeah.
And he's like, really, it's a really interesting dynamic because he doesn't get mad at the man who answers the phone. He's like a little bit like,
"Oh, hey, who are you? A man who is answering the phone?"
Well, maybe just a little bit.
Are you her husband?
But also, like, he's like, it's her father. He's respectful because he knows that he hasn't seen her in a long time. Who knows what this person's life is
actually
like.
I'm her metamor.
Who's this?
Hey, listen, I don't agree with your poly triad.
But I love that he's like, it's Dwight Manfredi, her father. Like, so
look,
formal.
I know it's hard to pay rent. You can just ask me. I'll kick you up some money.
But I don't approve of this. This is not how I grew up.
This is not in our lifestyle. Like, tradition's got to count for something.
And then the children are laughing in the background. And he
Are those your children together?
He gets so hurt.
And not yours from another relationship.
Listen, I'm sorry, but she doesn't want to talk to you. I did
Nice
it in a
guy.
Stallone voice.
Tries to like come back.
Like
Like
those your kids, yours and Tina's. Like try, but he's not mad. He's trying to mine him for information too, because he's
just-
like
totally,
he wants to
totally.
be
He
like
is.
connected to them.
He is.
He actually seems like he's like, I want to know this person.
No, they did a good job. You're right. But he does like a
when he's like, could you just tell her I just want to hear her voice? And then she comes on the phone. And she's
there.
like, there,
you
you've heard my voice.
Oh,
Man.
such Alex to Mama energy.
Oh, such me to mama energy. Totally. 100%. And then, can I see you? And then she clicks off the phone.
Yeah, and then he goes into the bubble where no one can hear him.
Man,
And
dude.
I can't like this was amazing.
This
dude.
was an amazing.
Like crying,
Yeah.
compelling.
I
Crying
stopped seeing
Stallone.
her because it was hard for her.
I think he was like really channeling, like losing sage energy. Like he was just like,
man, dude.
he just like those were true, honest tears,
Dude, losing sage energy, man, that makes me want to cry, even though I can't because of the medication. But like, I stopped seeing her because it was hard on me. Man, so awesome.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
sad.
It shows that he's like, hey, listen, everything's okay if you're sad enough about it.
Dude, can I just say, not only are you not wrong about that, but also,
It's okay if you're not woke if you're
Man.
sad enough about it.
the fact that you mentioned sage, I think you're right. I think this was channeling something like that, because that must suck.
Oh,
That
dude.
that must eat away at him
No money
forever.
in the world could replace like your kid.
Watering
It's-
trees that are
Yeah.
no, I'm kidding. But just to lighten the mood. But yeah,
like, to climate change. Yeah. But what were you gonna say? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It did give me that. It
Just
gave me that energy, that sadness, that vulnerability of like he has felt loss in his life. Much like he's channeling that loss in this
for
scene,
sure.
and it's made him like a better actor, dude.
Yeah.
He's like.
better than Schwartzy.
I mean, like we can't talk about that. He's amazing though. He's really amazing in this scene. And why don't we get to our rating?
Just the. Oh yeah, that should be. I thought there was less time, but yeah, just him admitting also to himself, being honest with himself in this scene about like, I miss her. I stopped seeing her because it was hard for me. Is a good character build as well. What would you give it out of Stallone's?
I would give this one a 9, dude. That crying at the end.
Man, I say 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh yeah.
10, maybe 10. dude.
10. Yeah, maybe 10.
We rated out of Stallone's, like how Stallone is it?
Yeah.
We should tell the YouTube,
course.
the now
Of
YouTube
course.
audience.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And like that is it. Just what does it embody his writing style? It does. Does it have any body shots? It does.
It does.
Does it have like good slurring face and
Yeah,
good meat?
good face
Good
acting.
meat face.
Yeah, good meaty performance. But also when he does different things, like out of his comfort zone, Stallone.
Oh, dude! Like when he cries, Stallone. He's never cried like
This-
slow, intense cry,
Yeah.
deep pain, Stallone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've not gotten deep pain, Stallone.
And I'm sorry, like booming voice,
Like
Stallone.
this. Oh,
I'm the bad guy.
Yelling
low
Stallone.
voice yelling movie. That's a new Stallone. Anyway, so that's our rating system of Stallone's. He gets a 10 in this
It's
episode.
also kind of arbitrary,
Well, maybe just a little bit.
but
It is a little bit arbitrary.
This I would say in terms of this episode, I'd probably say I would give this a 9 out of 10.
It's a good episode.
good
I mean,
episode.
like, yeah, it's
Good
not
show.
filler. We found out a bunch of new stuff. It was compelling. It went all the way through, and all the characters are interesting. I want to know about all of them.
Totally.
Anyway, see you next week.
Next week.